Taylor Guitars, A Legacy of Innovation, Part 2. By the year 2000, Taylor Guitars had achieved what seemed impossible back in 1974. Two teenagers who bought a failing guitar shop for installment payments of $50 a month had built one of the most successful acoustic guitar companies in the world. But for Bob Taylor and Kurt Leistug, success wasn't an ending. It was an opportunity to tackle the biggest challenges facing their industry. This is part 2 of the Taylor Guitars story, where innovation meets responsibility and where the future of guitar making gets reimagined. As the new millennium arrived, guitar makers faced a looming crisis. For centuries, acoustic guitars had been built from specific exotic woods: Brazilian rosewood, mahogany, ebony, spruce from old-growth forests. These tone woods were prized for their acoustic properties, but they were disappearing. Overharvesting, illegal logging, and habitat destruction were pushing many species toward extinction. Guitar companies faced a choice: fight for access to dwindling supplies, or find another way forward. Taylor chose a different path entirely. In 2011, Bob Taylor traveled to Cameroon in West Africa, one of the primary sources of ebony used in guitar fingerboards. What he found shocked him. Loggers were cutting down ebony trees and discarding more than 90% of the wood because it didn't meet the guitar industry's strict color requirements. Only pure black ebony was considered acceptable. Streaked or brown-tinted ebony, which was actually more common and just as sonically excellent, was being left to rot in the forest. Bob saw the waste and made a bold decision. Taylor bought the ebony mill, renamed it Clipchamp Ebony, and completely changed the operation. They would use all colors of ebony, educating players that streaked ebony was natural and beautiful. Almost overnight, Taylor transformed an unsustainable practice into a model of responsible forestry. But sustainability wasn't just about ebony. Taylor began exploring alternative tone woods that didn't come from endangered forests. They partnered with wood scientists and invested in research. The result was a series of innovations that other companies thought impossible. In 2014, Taylor introduced guitars with layered walnut backs and sides that rivaled solid wood construction in tone and projection. They developed urban ash guitars, using wood from ash trees that were being removed from urban areas anyway. Waste wood became premium instruments. Then came sapele, a sustainable African hardwood that offered warmth similar to mahogany without the environmental cost. The guitar community was skeptical at first. Players had been conditioned to believe that only traditional woods could produce great tone. But Taylor guitars sounded incredible, and gradually, perceptions began to shift. Sustainability didn't mean compromise. It meant thinking differently about materials. Meanwhile, Bob Taylor was working on something that would revolutionize acoustic guitar design itself. For over a century, acoustic guitars had used variations of X-bracing, a pattern of wooden struts inside the guitar that supported the top and shaped the tone. It was invented in the 1850s and had remained essentially unchanged. Bob believed there was a better way. After years of experimentation, Taylor unveiled V-class bracing in 2018. Instead of the traditional X pattern, the braces formed a V shape that allowed the guitar top to vibrate more freely while maintaining structural integrity. The result was extraordinary: increased volume, longer sustain, and most remarkably, improved intonation. Notes up and down the neck were more in tune with each other, solving a problem that had plagued acoustic guitars since their invention. The guitar world took notice. V-class bracing won awards and earned praise from players and builders alike. Once again, Taylor had proven that innovation could improve on centuries of tradition. The 2010s and beyond saw Taylor continue to expand and evolve. They introduced the Grand Pacific body shape, designed to compete with the warmer, more traditional tones of vintage guitars while maintaining Taylor playability. They developed the Expression System pickup, giving players authentic amplified acoustic tone. They even created an entirely new line called Taylor Guitars Academy Series, offering quality instruments at accessible prices for beginning players. In 2019, another major transition occurred. Andy Powers, a master luthier who had joined Taylor in 2011, was named president and CEO. Bob Taylor stepped back from daily operations, though he remained deeply involved in innovation and design. Kurt Leistug prepared for his own eventual transition, securing the company's future leadership while maintaining its values. The COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 brought unprecedented challenges, but Taylor adapted. They supported their dealer network, maintained production when possible, and continued to innovate. The company that had started in a tiny shop with no resources had built something resilient and enduring. Today, Taylor Guitars produces hundreds of guitars every day in their California facility, along with a manufacturing plant in Tecate, Mexico. They employ over 1,000 people. Their guitars are played by everyone from bedroom hobbyists to stadium-filling superstars. But the company hasn't lost sight of what made it special: a commitment to innovation, quality, and doing things the right way. The story of Taylor Guitars is ultimately about two things: the power of innovation and the importance of values. Bob Taylor and Kurt Leistug could have been content with commercial success. Instead, they used their position to tackle environmental challenges, to advance guitar design, and to prove that a company could be both profitable and principled. When Bob Taylor picked up tools in that small shop in 1974, he wasn't just learning to build guitars. He was beginning a 50-year journey that would transform an entire industry. The teenager with no money and big dreams became one of the most influential guitar makers in history, not by following the rules, but by questioning them. Taylor Guitars reminds us that tradition and innovation aren't opposites. They're partners. The best way to honor the craft of guitar making isn't to preserve it in amber, but to push it forward, to make it better, to ensure it has a sustainable future. That's the legacy of Taylor Guitars, a company that proved you could respect the past while building something entirely new. And somewhere right now, someone is picking up a Taylor guitar for the first time, hearing that bright, clear tone, and beginning their own musical journey. That sound, that moment, is what it was all about from the very beginning.